You have arrived at Locally Sourced.
All right, Middletown, welcome back to our latest episode number 11 of Locally Sourced, Middletown's own and official podcast. And today we are joined by our first influencer. Nicole Gangino is here. She is the creator of Bayshore Beyond, a platform celebrating the New Jersey Bayshore through dining, hidden gems, and community stories. She is a Monmouth County resident, wife, mom, who is sharing her family's adventures while promoting all of Middletown's, I want to say, but more importantly, all of Monmouth County, small businesses, self-care. She is expanding that brand and started and co-founded the Bayshore Bazaar in 2023. Nicole, thanks for joining us on Locally Sourced. Appreciate you being here.
Thanks for having me. I'm so excited.
So tell me, let's just dive right into it because you're the first influencer that I have ever met. And and despite the fact that I think my daughter watches all influencers on, social media or YouTube, whatever it may be, tell me how you launched into, because you have a full-time job outside of doing this. Mm-hmm. So tell me, how did you get into promoting all of Monmouth County and Middletown's small businesses, restaurants, great places to visit? What made you start Bayshore Beyond?
I've always been someone who likes to explore and then tell people just different places to go and things to do. I've been in Keyport, I think, at like 8 years now. So I was kind of there when it's just stuff started opening and this started to be a place where people started to go. I started Bayshore Beyond during the pandemic when we were just home and we had really nowhere else to go. And I was like, this is such a hidden gem where I live, and just the different businesses that were here, just the places to go and explore, especially outside. But at Rutgers, I was a public relations, so I did do social media, and I did do that for an organization, but I was better at it just doing it myself and being my own boss and kind of promoting things and just having my way of just sharing stuff. So that helped a lot too.
So tell me, how has this influenced the way you go out and explore Monmouth County? Is it all of a sudden different from when you used to go to just, you went out to eat with your husband or your family? How is it different now as it was 5 years ago when you started this?
Oh, everything is content now. I think of things and if I walk into a place or even if I'm just, hanging out, if I'm a seafarer, I'm like, okay, let me take a picture of the drink over here. But I think differently now. I kind of just don't I always tell my daughter actually
not
said
the
that,
Apple think differently, right?
What happened?
Not the Apple commercial think differently. It's Nicole thinking
differently. Yeah, and we were actually just in Philadelphia with my my mom and my daughter, and we were having a girls vacation trip. And
for
I was
the flower show? Or?
Yeah, for the flower show.
Okay,
oh my God, I love the flower show.
Yeah.
And we were taking pictures. I was like, hang on, the phone eats first. And my daughter's like, yep, the phone eats first. I take pictures of the food before anyone's eats first. Yes, before anyone's supposed, before anyone gets in there. So it's kind of all that. But sometimes sometimes I went out with my girlfriend, and she'll be like, oh, take pictures of the dinner. Sometimes I just don't want to. You know what I mean? There's certain times and places where I'm like, okay, I want to highlight this place and spotlight it, and then there's certain times where I'm just I just want to go out to dinner and not have to worry about the lighting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's completely different.
Getting the perfect angle.
Exactly. Making sure you got all of the all of the aesthetics, a video, a photo. It really is crazy now that when you're a content creator, you can't really just walk in and sit down. You're always thinking about oh, this could be a story or this. Yeah.
So you're from Monmouth County.
Yes.
What to you makes Monmouth County such a special place to live and explore?
I'm such a Monmouth County. I love it. I love that. And this happened to me once, and that's what really made I remember going to a farm and picking peaches, and then on that same day going to the beach. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just the beauty of Monmouth County. We can go to Oak Hill Farms and be hanging out with alpacas, and then go down to Bayshore Waterfront Park and be digging in the sand, finding seashells all in one day.
Yeah.
It has that beauty, and it has that coastal vibe. It's more like relaxed, and that's what I love about it.
You know, it's so funny that you mentioned that because last summer, you know, my kids were finally able to have fun at the beach without
Constantly
my
being like,
wife or
yeah.
I like constantly on top of them.
Mhm.
You know, they were more self-sufficient to be able to explore on their own and, you know, build a sandcastle by themselves or check, you know, over by the jetty, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
And it is so amazing. You bring up Bayshore Waterfront Park and Middletown's beaches, but it's just amazing to me that we have such a beautiful area, and the fact that I think like twice a week last summer and even into the fall, my wife and I we were picking up sandwiches from Talercio's, right?
Mhm.
We'd pick up sandwiches and then we would drive right to Bayshore Waterfront Park, and you sit there and you're like, wow, I just worked a full day.
Yep.
I have no more meetings. I can go grab an early dinner and take it to the beach and just watch this sunset. I mean, it's honestly amazing. So, you know, we really have to appreciate the area that we live in. It's so beautiful, and I love that you said that because it gave me a flashback of thinking of all my kids sitting on the beach with us and just watching the stars come out and watching the boats go by. It's just gorgeous.
I always tell my daughter that. I was like, look how lucky you are. Like, you have New York City, beautiful skyline. I picked you up from school. We went straight to the beach, hung out at the beach, you know, like, it's like, what a life.
So before we get specifically to Middletown,
okay,
tell me,
mm-hmm.
what's been your favorite places to go and explore or eat at so far in this journey that you're taking with all of the people on your social media?
I'm a very outdoorsy person, so I love beaches and parks. There's some beaches that I will, even like us giving a shout out to Bayshore Waterfront Park and kind of be like, still make that one a little hidden gem because I do love that one. But yeah,
I love that no one knows about Bayshore Waterfront Park.
Don't
fill
say
the parking lot.
Yes, please. I know, and I have to park all the way down on this. Yeah, let's not. Yeah, but just exploring all the parks and things I love. I'm friends with the people from Half Moon, and it's crazy because I met them, and when the place was just like the wooden beams, and now it's this like beautiful restaurant. So that's a place that I've loved and shared that experience with them as they've grown. You know, when they just opened, I went to their opening to now. Just all the different areas. The Henry Hudson Trail, I feel like doesn't get as much love as it should. I'm like a few houses away from that. I love kind of like exploring that area. The Highlands is like a really good area that I love. Seafarer has been a place that I've been going to for years. Even before I went here, that's been like a hidden gem. It's my favorite Jersey Shore bar. Yeah, there's just so much. We have so much stuff around here, and that's pretty much why I started this, because I'm like, we really do have so much. And everyone just like drives past exit 117 because they're just like, I'm going down the Jersey Shore, but they just forget about the Bayshore, you know?
Yeah, I mean it's a double-edged sword because you want people to know about it, but you also don't. Yeah, like I need to be able to get into a certain restaurant. You know, and I know that, you know, if I want to go to Angelica's in Seabright in the summertime, it's like, oh, okay, well,
that's a September thing.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know, it's so easy to have these conversations because I love so much, you know, going out and exploring new restaurants and finding the latest place to go and visit. And you're right to know that we have the Seafarer and to be able to hit Seabright or Sandy Hook and all these other places. You know, it is to a degree sad that we have people that shoot right by, you know, on the parkway.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, we love the quality of life that we have
and the quaintness
more,
right? Yeah.
So what's your favorite underrated spot?
You know where I love Neelam's.
Okay.
I've been going to Neelam's, the Indian restaurant over there.
Right on 35.
Right on 35.
Yeah.
Been going there. My husband and I always get like the big like two. You share like a meal. You get everything. You get the soup, a whole bunch of tandoori stuff, all of that. Nilam's has been a spot that I've been going to for a really long time. Pueblo Magico. In Belford, that's also another like little hidden gem.
Truly authentic Mexican food.
Yes, exactly. There's a difference.
And they take and the owners are great there. I remember doing a ribbon cutting, I think in 2000. I don't know, 2020. I can't remember exactly, but and they had a band and they had everything, and I learned more about Mexican cuisine right there than I had ever even heard about.
Right?
I think, and it's a great spot, and the fact that you can hit the Belford Brewery right next door, and basically take your food and just walk right next door and have a beer down at Belford Brewery is just great. So what are the other ones that you had?
Let's see, what else? Do you want to just be specific Middletown or okay, let's see.
You had a couple Middletown in there.
Yeah, I did. Let's see. Where else? I'm trying to think. Well, Rosie's just opens, which was like I was so excited. I was messaging them like, when are you guys opening? Because I was a huge fan when they were in Point Pleasant. So I'm happy that they're here. So that basically solidified that I don't really need to leave the Bayshore anymore, because I used to only drive when we used to go to Point Pleasant. I used to call and be like, "Do you have dough?" So I'm excited for that one.
So I walked in there, and I had like a Middletown branded jacket on or something, and I guess the manager or the owner was standing right behind the counter, and he was like, "Oh, are you the mayor?" And I was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh, we've been waiting for you to come in." And I was like, "I know. I can't. I never remember to call at 2:00 to be able to order your pizza."
Yes, I called one day and they were at a Squares, and I was like, "See, oh man."
I mean, you need a calendar invite to remind you that it's happening.
Yes.
It's a great spot. We're lucky to have them. So you've highlighted a lot of local businesses through your platform. Yes. If any, is there a Middletown business owner or a Bayshore, a Bayshore restaurant or small business that the owner really stuck out at you, like that they inspired you, they made you look at something differently? I know we were talking about a couple before we came on, but like, is there anybody out there that you were like, wow, this person has kind of changed the way I looked at this?
Oh, Nikki from Mav's Top Buns. I mean, I've been following them. I've been following her around since I had a drive down to Zoe's. Remember when Zoe's in Atlantic Highlands was? Yeah. And I was like, oh, they just dropped her buns. So yeah, I mean, since I started, I've been following her, and she's another great working mom, and they both were working at the time. I remember, and they were just a great story, and I just love seeing their success. I also always loved Oak Hill Farms, like Carlo over there. I've been a huge fan. I've been going there since they opened. Middletown, yes, also Middletown residents. So those are the two that I've really been following during my journey too. I guess it's interesting because as an influencer, like who else? I'll never forget, I got Benchmark breads delivered when I first started, delivered to my doorstep. And I said to my husband, I was like, this is the best bread I've ever had. And now look at that.
Benchmark breads.
Benchmarks, yeah, but they started... They were like in a ghost kitchen down in Atlantic Highlands in one of the stores that were closed. And now they have a storefront, but I think it's in either like Little Silver or Fairhaven or something here. But they started like from here, like they were around here. Yeah. And so it's just interesting when you're an influencer, you kind of also see, and I just get so happy when I see businesses that I've been supporting for so long, and I see them just, get bigger and bigger. So those were...
So is there a fan favorite that recommended a place to you that has become a favorite for yourself?
A fan favorite?
Like, has anybody recommended a place like you have to go to X?
It's hard. A lot of people recommend Italian restaurants, and I'm Italian, so I don't really go. And because I'm just like, I make vodka sauce.
Taste.
I'm particular. I need to go to restaurants and places where like I could never make the food. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't really make the food. I'm trying to think.
I can't believe it. Your last name's Gangino.
I know.
And you're Italian? I would have pegged you for Irish.
And I make a Sunday sauce. You would never know. I don't know. This is a hard one. Let me think about that.
All right.
Okay. Yeah.
So talk to me about this then.
Okay.
You co-launched Bayshore Bazaar.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Okay. So I was in a book club with Jenny. She is the founder of Asbury Park Bazaar, who has been around for 10 years. And I was a vendor there. I used to make crochet stuff before, kids and when I had time. And then when I was here, when I moved to the Bayshore and I started Bayshore Beyond, I was like, we need something here too. Like, I feel like makers and things like that. So we launched Bayshore Bazaar. The first one was at the 3BR down in Keyport. And then we had another one at the casino in Atlantic Highlands, and then we had a summer one in the
Shore Casino.
Shore Casino in Atlantic Highlands.
I'm like,
no,
there's a casino
yeah.
in Atlantic
Casino.
Highlands.
Yeah, and then we
not
had
a legal one.
Not
at
a
least.
legal one, no. And then we had it at the Seafarer, and now it's on hiatus. I'm busy, and our biggest problem was that we could never find like a big enough spot. And Shore Casino was the spot for that time, and then we went to Seafarer, and then that was like outside, and it storms on the day that we had. Yes, yeah, downpour. Typical, yeah.
Yeah.
So for right now, that's on hold, but we can always bring it back. I think the Bayshore has so many great makers and creators and stuff like that a market would be great.
Middletown Minutes, your one-stop shop for all township news and updates. From featuring the latest initiatives to community events and accomplishments, our weekly online newsletter will help keep you informed about everything you need to stay in the know. Every issue will provide you with information about helpful resources, road closures and detours, and ways to get involved. Ready to read it right now? Visit middletownnj.org/subscribe. Click on the envelope next to the e-newsletter and enjoy a new edition every week.
So as a mom, you're a mom, you're working a full-time job, and you're a local influencer. How do you balance that family life with your role as a content creator? I mean, I love that you told the story about your daughter understanding that she's not allowed to eat until there's a photo done of the chicken fingers and French fries that she's eating.
Absolutely, yes.
But what how has your life changed beyond that, and how do you balance that?
I try to just be on my phone for a certain amount, like when I'm home. It's hard though, because like the job is on your phone. Like when I do those like weekend things to do, I only get it by scrolling Instagram. Like I don't scroll Instagram like a normal person. I scroll Instagram and I was like, okay, save this. Like when all your parks and recreations, like stuff that I save. So I try to like have a time from like when I get home from work for like a little, from like 4 to 6 or 7, like, to not be on my phone at that time. But that's hard to do sometimes.
Definitely.
And I think like comparison's like the thief of joy, they say. I used to like see other like content creators and I'm like, I can't do that. I have this is their full-time job. Like I am a full-time working mom on this. This is what I like do on the side. So I just had to accept that, there's some opportunities and stuff that I have to say no to, and I can't be going all the places that I want to because I just have that short window of time. And then I also have a daughter that I want to spend that time with. So it's hard. It's really, really hard to juggle, but I do my best.
But you're so successful. I mean, you've shown that. I mean, but the fact that you have that time set aside to not look at it and still be able to do this is unbelievable. So what's next? What's next for Bayshore Beyond? Like what are the upcoming features or collaborations that you're looking forward to the most?
So I did a post to have people shout out women-owned businesses, and it got like over 500
for Women's History Month.
Women's History Month.
Great.
It got over 500 comments. There are so many.
Wow.
Yes, so many women-owned businesses, not only at the Bayshore and Monmouth County beyond. So for this month, I'm highlighting. I chose 10 to specifically highlight, just women to be on my page. They're sending me their stories and their photos, and then I just think that that's just such a huge opportunity. I kind of want to have like a little like an event kind of women-owned businesses and kind of just have this be something in my content moving forward. Just have it always be something like Mother's Day gift guide, but like just women-owned business. I'm just trying to think of.
Can you send me that Mother's Day gift guide?
Oh yeah, yes,
Okay,
I will.
thank
Yes.
Without mentioning names.
Okay.
And this is not on my card.
Oh
so
God.
I'm
Okay.
you're
throwing me a curveball. Okay.
Well, I'm really throwing the people in the studio right now a curveball because
Oh,
they're
okay.
like, "What's he
Okay.
gonna say?"
Oh geez.
Without mentioning names of a brand or specific, what was, because I have my own for this role.
Okay.
You walk into a situation and it is not what you anticipated or expected, and you're like, "Oh my gosh." How am I going to handle this collaboration? How am I going to deal with this now effort to review something? Have you had that moment where you're like, "Oh boy, this is not what it has, been pegged to be"?
Yeah, and you just don't post it.
Well, I guess that's a little bit easier.
Yeah, it's
right?
a little easier. Yes. And there's some places that like, if I don't post it or post a lot about it, then you'll know that they don't really like it. There's my tried and true that I love, and then when I find a good place, I will like shout it from the rooftops. I do collaborations with like bigger brands like FabFitFun, Olive and June, and stuff like that. But when it comes to like more local more local people, I kind of just like to go in there on the DL sometimes. You know what I mean? Before and check it out.
Scout it out
a little bit. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, it happens all the time where you walk into a situation and you're like, well, this was not what was described to me being here. We have a lot of great new we were talking beforehand, and I just did the ribbon cutting over at Falcone's in Lincroft, which I have not been to yet, over on 520 in Lincroft. And it is the son of the owner of Alio's that is right across the street in the Acme Shopping Plaza right there. And I'll tell you that he did a phenomenal job renovating that place, which is now, I believe, the oldest building in Lincroft, but did a gorgeous job preserving the building. The beams underneath of the building were actually still had bark on them. That's like how these were not pure 2x4s or 2x6s that they were using to hold up this floor. These were tree trunks basically that were holding it up. But you'll have to try it over.
I have to try that one.
You haven't been there yet.
No, I haven't. Nope, not
okay.
yet.
Well, you got to get over there because it's gorgeous. I know it's Italian food.
I know. See, that's the thing.
It's Italian food.
It's Italian food, but elevated Italian. Maybe I can't do that.
They have a great little private room.
Okay.
So I know when I take my 3 kids out, I would love to have a private room because sometimes you get embarrassed at the fact that they're throwing stuff all over the floor.
Right.
And the chicken fingers and French fries.
Yeah,
right? And there's never enough ketchup on their plate.
Never.
So, we talked about what's next for Bayshore Beyond and what you're doing. Who's somebody that you have another influencer that you see out there, not in this area obviously, because Bayshore Beyond is the only influencer that we need here in the Bayshore. Even though you're going to move to Middletown eventually, right?
Yeah.
Don't worry, I'll talk to your mayor about it.
Okay.
It's
Yes,
okay.
please.
Rose, she's coming over here. What's somebody that you think that you've kind of looked at and said that's somebody that really embraces the job that they're doing? Who's somebody out there that maybe they're not an influencer like you, but they're an influencer of something different that you really appreciate what it is, and the art, I think, that certainly comes along, because I know a lot of people have, I don't want to say it's similar to politicians, but I feel like there's a hesitance to sit there and be like, oh, it's an influencer. It's just somebody that's walking into a restaurant and taking pictures and stuff like that. And it's like, well, that there's a lot more to it than that, and similar to, politicians, I feel like, and elected officials. But who's somebody that you think really has, does a great job of influencing in their kind of sphere?
Meg thinks she's from around here too.
Yeah.
I think she does a great job. I love that she kind of picks places and just like she was at a consignment store. She does like all different spots all around. I think she's great. I love Cass in the City. She's in Philadelphia. I just like her. She's very authentic. She says what she like how she feels and things she believes in. And she kind of really highlights like lesser known places, especially like in the Philadelphia region.
Yeah.
So I really like her too. Who else? I mean, there's a lot of influencers are popping up, and it's also that was one thing that I noticed that not a lot of people shouted out on the Women's History Month thing, because I don't really think they feel like it's like a job, but it is a job, and
Sure.
it's like a lot of work. You know what I mean? So I'll definitely be shouting out a bunch of women influencers for Women's History Month that I've been following for a while. Yeah. So
Very
those
cool.
are the two. Yeah.
All right, here's the last question, Middletown. The last question. If you had to choose one Middletown meal, last meal, your last meal, and it was one, what's it going to be?
Just one last meal?
One.
I really love Neelam.
Back there.
I do. I love
Is it because everything else is Italian, or?
Yeah, I there's not one thing on that menu I think I could cook. Not one thing.
Really?
Yes. And we've been going there for 8 years, and every time we go, we always get this. It's consistently so good.
Okay.
I love that. I love Neelam.
So what's your favorite meal there? If the person listening in, they're going to Neelam because you said so.
Yeah, I get that. I get it's the 2-person meal. It starts out with soup, then you get All
right, so what's the soup that you get?
I don't know. It's like authentic. Like I don't
know
even
how to point to it on the menu, but
yes,
okay.
Yes, I know how to point
but
to
not
it.
pronounce it. Fortunately, they know.
Yes,
exactly. How to pronounce it.
Yes,
Okay.
it's soup. It comes with the crackers and the little dips. We get the chicken tikka masala. We get the the vegetable, the yellow korma, and then it has a bunch of stuff that comes from the tandoori with the naan, and then it ends with this little honey ball of goodness that's in honey and a chai tea. What a last meal. You know what I mean?
All right.
Soup to dessert.
That's a good last meal.
That's a good last meal. I think
right.
that's everything.
My claim to fame,
okay.
if I am remembered for nothing else as the mayor of Middletown,
okay.
I still am getting text messages years later from the episode of Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives that I was on.
Wait, where were they? Where'd they go?
Haughty Chalk, which was an Indian
yes,
restaurant over by the old shop.
Yes.
And I will never forget, because Guy Fieri is as authentic behind.
Oh, he's the same?
It's exactly the same.
Oh, that's good to know.
It's not. It is. There is no difference between him on camera and him off camera.
Oh, really? Okay.
So you're there for a long time, from set up to everything. So they invite us onto the set, and I'm sitting at this table by myself, and I don't. I had gotten to talk to Guy beforehand, and we're sitting there. And he's in the back, and I'm out in the regular restaurant, and there's nobody else in there other than myself, another Tara Burson, who's our communications director here, and she is, and it's just her and I, and then the producers.
That's it. It's usually stacked, those restaurants. I feel like
they bring them in. They bring them in later, but this is all when they're doing the kitchen stuff.
Oh, gotcha.
And he comes out, and they were cooking tandoori chicken. Okay, so every time I hear about tandoori chicken, I have to give Haughty Chalk a shout out.
Okay.
Because he starts to cry because of how good this tandoori chicken is. And there's a reporter there from the New York Times.
Oh, wow.
And she is doing a profile on Guy Fieri. And he is breaking down for how good this tandoori chicken is.
Oh,
and I'm thinking to myself, oh, he's still on camera.
Yeah,
this is Nope. The camera was staying in the kitchen. They were not leaving. He was coming out just to talk and BS around with everybody that was in the room. And I'm like, wow. So all of a sudden, they bring in all the people. They situate everybody down. They put food out, out in front of everybody. And then all of a sudden, Guy Fieri sits down and starts talking to me, and we're talking about the dish in front of me, and I'm thinking, oh, and then there's the camera.
Oh my gosh,
and,
you were on?
And I'm like, wait a minute, are we starting or? And,
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this is live, buddy. And I'm like, well, it's not live.
Yeah, but it's
he's
like recording.
We're live, And but yeah, so the tandoori chicken.
So I'm gonna have to try that.
Chalk,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
And I always wondered when he went, like I was like, do you really like it that much? You know what I mean?
I couldn't believe
You
it.
couldn't.
I think
So he
in that he did 3 stops because then we did a big event at the VFW and he sponsored cooking like 500 meals for veterans at the VFW in Middletown. So yeah, I mean it was really, a nice day, an unbelievable day. And he went to he went to Middletown and then he went to a place in Seabright. I can't remember where.
The Thai place.
Oh, that's right.
And then did he go to Chubby
Chubby
Pickle?
Pickle.
Okay.
Chubby
I
Pickle.
remember. I was like, he's all around town.
And I told him at the Chubby Pickle, I said, that's where, before kids, like that's where you went and watched football on Sundays, right? Because you had your mug with your name on it and everything. And he's like, okay, what am I getting? And I said, well, just get wings with the pickle sauce on it. And he sees me a couple hours later and he's like, dude, those wings were solid. And I was like, okay, now I feel like I've influenced Guy Fieri.
See, there you go.
Influence.
Exactly.
Made it happen. Nicole, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
It's been great to have you. If you are not following Bayshore Beyond, check out Nicole on Instagram. She's got a lot of great insights, places to go, things to do with your loved ones, with your kids. It's all about the Bayshore area. And not only do we celebrate here on Locally Sourced local things, but Bayshore Beyond is celebrating those and getting out there to the public. So be sure to check her out on all of her social media channels. Nicole, thanks again for being here.
Thank you so much.
Check out the next episode, Locally Sourced. We'll be announcing our guest very soon, but we are signing off from the studios here at Town Hall. Thanks for listening, and join us next time for Locally Sourced.